Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. So before I begin, let me introduce myself and my group members. So my name is NURNABILANANI binti Muhammad TAHA, along with AINI NAJIHAH binti SAHARIL, ATIQAH binti NORAZMI, AMIRUL HAKIMI bin BAHAROM, and SITI NURFATINA binti RUSDEYI. In this video, we will present about Islamic Finance, principle of Islamic Finance, and application of Islamic Finance benefit.
Islam has set value and goals that meet all the economics and social requirements of the human life. Islam is a religion that not only focuses on the success of the afterlife, but also organizes the life of a person perfectly. The Islamic law are known as Sharia, that means clear path. In the present, banking system is against the principle of Islamic banking. Here we want to discuss the 5 major of principle of Islamic banking and finance, which are gharar, riba, gambling, profit and loss, and zakat. Here in this video, we will explain more about it. Let's move on to the next, which is gharar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti NURFATINA. Today I want to explain what gharar is. As we know, gharar is a broad concept that means deceit, risk, fraud, uncertainty, or hazard. In Islamic law, the sales and purchase of gharar are prohibited. Gharar have 2 types, which are gharar fahish and gharar yasir. Okay, for gharar fahish is uncertainty that is become unacceptable, and for gharar yasir means trivial, thus it is existent, is tolerated. Based on the word of the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith of Abu Hurairah, which reads meaning the Prophet ﷺ forbade the sales and purchase of the al-harshah and the sales and purchase of gharar.
Moving on to the second one, which is riba. Riba is a concept in Islam that refers broadly to the concept of growth, increasing or exceeding, which in turn forbids the interest credited from loans or deposits. The terms that usually known as interest but also known as riba is prohibited for a variety of reasons, which is the wealth we get the return without any risk or effort. Regardless of the outcome of economic activity, the individuals who receive the loan must repay the lender with money and also with the interest, which is the riba. Taking advantage of the other pupils is against in Islamic finance principles. Nevertheless, riba was largely taken as law and formed the basis of the Islamic finance industry. Riba has also been mentioned in Quran and Hadith. One of them are from Surah Al-Imran, which I have stated right here.
Now I will explain about gambling. Some of you are not very clear on what gambling is. Gambling is the betting of something that have value with unnecessary risk with the hope of gain based on elements of chance and uncertain events that may involve an on occasion loss of the contextual elements of economic reality and resulting unexpectedly. In the Quran, the word maisir literally means gambling or speculation. Islam has prohibited all types of gambling. Maisir refers to the easy acquisition of wealth by chance, whether or not it deprives the other right. For the example of gambling, conventional insurance is not permissible since it has components of riba and gambling. So here I provided Surah Al-Ma'idah. It's very clear that inviting to gamble is a very serious sin.
Profit and loss sharing is a method of finance used by Islamic financial or Sharia compliant institutions to comply with the religious prohibition on interest that most Muslims subscribe to. Many sources state there are 2 types of profit and loss sharing used by Islamic banks. The first one is mudarabah. Mudarabah is a profit and loss sharing partnership agreement where one partner, the financial or Rab'ul Mal, will provide the capital to another partner, which is labor provider or mudarib, who is responsible for the management and investment of the capital. The mudarib will undertake the activities and management of the company, and the profit is shared between the partners in a predetermined quantum. while loss is borne by the investing partners. The investing partner will not interfere in the day-to-day management, but may specify certain conditions related to managing the capital. In other words, he may be referred as a sleeping partner. The Rab ul Mal party provides 100% of the capital, and the moderate party provides its specialized knowledge to evaluate the capital and manage the investment project. The second one is musyarakah. Musyarakah is a joint enterprise in which all the partners share the profit or loss of the joint venture. It is an agreement between two or more persons to carry out a particular business with the view of sharing profit by joint investment. Musyarakah is often used in business transactions and to finance a major purchase. For example, Islamic banks lend their money to companies by issuing floating rate interest loan, where the floating rate is pegged to the company's rate of return and serve as the bank's profit on the loan. Once the principal amount of the loan is repaid, the contract is concluded. The benefit that we can get from the application of Islamic approach toward the society is encouraging long-term investment in companies and banks. Longer-term investment is a slower, longer and more thoughtful decision-making process compared than the conventional one. After all, an Islamic investor seeks to make socially responsible choice to avoid investment in a company that can cause harm to people or the environment. The first step in a screening process that every Islamic fund uses is choosing out the companies that can provide long-term investment. The next step is eliminating companies whose financial practices are too risky and goes a long way toward reducing risk and creating greater investment stability.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is NURUL ATIQAH binti NORAZMI. So now I want to explain about one of the principles of Islamic finance, which is zakat. Zakat is a property tax that being charged to a Muslim with prescribed amount with a few conditions like time that zakat can be paid, the haul, which means a minimum period of time, and nisab, minimum amount. There are two types of zakat. The first one is zakat fitrah. Zakat fitrah is compulsory to every Muslim, whether male or female, and no matter what their age, as long as they have the means to do so. This type of zakat is paid during holy month of Ramadan until before the Eid Fitri prayer with the flat fee on each person. The second one is zakat al-mal or zakat on property. This zakat can be paid anytime based on the haul and nisab. For example, like zakat of gold, zakat of business, and zakat of crops. Here, I want to share one dalil that clarify the compulsory of zakat to Muslim. This is from Surah An-Nur, verse 56. The meaning is, and keep up prayer and pay alms as zakat and obey the messenger, that perhaps you may receive mercy. Next, I want to share the three functions of zakat. The first one is zakat help to minimize the needy and poor people in the society, which means it helps to lighten their burden to continuing their lives. Secondly, zakat also helps to purify our property, because sometimes with or without concern we take people belonging without permission. That means by paying zakat, the property we obtain is blessed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Lastly, zakat also helps us to purify our heart from being greedy, stingy and proud, because when we pay zakat, we know that not all of our belonging is ours, but part of it is for needy people. Lastly, I want to share about the 8 categories of asnaf who are eligible to receive zakat. It is also mentioned in Surah At-Tawbah, verse 60. The meaning is, zakat expenditure are not only for the poor and for the needy, and for those employed to collect zakat, and for bringing heart together for Islam, and for freeing captives or slaves, and for those in debt, and for the cause of Allah, and for the stranded traveler, an obligation imposed by Allah, and Allah is knowing and wise. So the first one is faqir. Fakir is one has neither material possession nor means of livelihood. Secondly is miskin. Miskin is referred to a person who has insufficient means to livelihood to meet his or her daily need. Next is AMIRUL, which a person who are appointed to collect and distribute zakat. After that is mu'allaf, which a person who are recently embraced Islam. Beside that is riqab, which a person who want to free himself from the bondage or shackles of slavery. Furthermore is gharimin, which it is referred to a person who are in debt but need assistance to meet his or her basic need. After that is fi sabilillah, which a person who are strive in the cause of Allah. Lastly is ibn sabil, which a traveller who are stranded on a permissible journey and unable to return home due to financial constraint. The benefits that we can find from the application of Islamic finance toward the society in Islamic perspective is transparency to the society. Transparency is defined as a condition that nothing is being hidden and all the information are available to the client. For example, the information like the profit when we receive return, where institution invests the client's money, the financial operation done by institution, the sales of commodity handled by institution, and so on. As we know, the conventional financial institution did not apply this transparency because of that some of their business activity are hidden from the clients and solely focus on to gain profit without concern about halal and haram. For example, the conventional financial institution use client money and make an investment in a place that the client do not know either it is halal or haram. From that, we can see there is the element of gharar in the business which is prohibited in Islam. While in Islamic finance is really transparent, and to illustrate it, one of Islamic finance instrument which is mudarabah. The proportionate share in profit is determined by mutual agreement. From that, investor is clear about the profit they will receive. In mudarabah muqayyah, Rabulmal may specify a business that the mudarib can invest. That means the investor know where the money is invested. Same goes to mudarabah mutlaqah, where Rabulmal not specify in which to invest, but mudarib only can invest in the line of Sharia. That means even the business is not specified, but investor know it will be invested in the line of Sharia. To conclude, the transparency of Islamic financial to the society create more trust in terms of the return we will receive, where the money being invested, and the financial operation is followed by the Sharia rules.
Next is linking savings and investment, whereby normal banking practice are not contrary to Islamic principle. Islamic bank have embraced current banking tools and procedure. Where clash occur, Islamic bank have created their own tools and procedure to complete their banking activities. The tools and procedure that have been outlined in this are saving account and investment account. Investment procedure are based on Islamic principle, namely musyarakah, which is equity participation, mudarabah, agency, and murabahah. Islamic banks conduct business with other banks also in their countries, strictly based on Islamic principles. This has provided an opportunity for traders out there to invest and make savings in the bank without hesitation if there are elements that contradict Islamic principles.
There are various benefits from the application of Islamic finance towards society, and one of it is can reduce the impact of harmful products and practice. From this benefit can help all Muslim people to prevent them from using the harmful product that have an element of maisir, gharar, riba, and others. Non-Muslim nowadays use the product based on Sharia compliance because they believe Islamic finance carries lower risk. Therefore, as we can see, the benefit can make the society feel secure in terms of their finance.
Moving on to the next benefits in the application of Islamic finance, which is striving for greater stability. Globally, people are longing for greater economic stability. After years of crisis and economic gloom and doom in so many countries, people want positive change. They recognize that something is wrong in the conventional financial system that has let them down. And what they want is they want a system that is more transparent, responsible, and stable. This can be done by treating money as a medium of exchange rather than an entity with value itself, which is by viewing profit as just one of many reasons to engage in investment activity, and also by putting monetary value squarely behind real economic activities that create real jobs and real products. By this means and more, Islamic finance promotes the type of responsibility that people everywhere are craving from their financial institutions.
The benefit that we can get from the application of Islamic approach toward the society is encouraging long-term investment in companies and banks. Longer-term investment is a slower, longer and more thoughtful decision-making process compared than the conventional one. After all, an Islamic investor seeks to make socially responsible choice to avoid investment in a company that can cause harm to people or the environment. The first step in a screening process that every Islamic fund uses is choosing out the companies that can provide long-term investment. The next step is eliminating companies whose financial practices are too risky and goes a long way toward reducing risk and creating greater investment stability. Intensive screening reduces risk, greater stability, socially responsible investment selection. This is not the stuff of quick action or usually quick returns. Investors need to follow the Islamic principles and tend to follow a path that encourages more thoughtful selections and longer-term commitments.
Islamic financial system has potential to become the best way for implementation of the righteous objective of Sharia, as it is reside within a financial path underlined by the nature of Sharia ruling. With implementation of Maqasid Sharia, Islamic financial institution characteristics are shaped by the higher objective of Islamic law, emphasizing overall social and economic good and not infectious greed and individualism. This Sharia ruling correlates Islamic financial transactions with real concern for just fair and transparent society. So, we can say that the principle of Islamic finance guides us to invest in an industry that will help us to achieve financial and social objectives that have been determined by Islam. The Islamic finance principles have been designed to make an economy successful. So, it is a way of saving our money from being invested